What's going on, guys? Welcome back to week 2 of the WBE. My name is WolfeyVGC. I am the 2016 Pokemon World Champion, and this week we are going up against Galactic Elliot, who is another member of the WBE. I recommend you check out his YouTube channel as well. And he's got a really scary team. So, I guess to preface this, for those of you who don't know, the WBE is a single battle draft league started by A-Drive. And the way that it's like a draft league works is you go through and everyone picks a Pokemon like over and over again. It's a snake draft normally. This one was also a snake draft, and you pick a Pokemon. You also, in this league, has some specifications, like everyone needs to pick a Z Crystal that they're locked into using, and you get 1 Mega as well. The way that this draft worked is there was like different points allocated, and with those points, and also like tiering and stuff. Basically, there was a whole system when everyone drafted 11 Pokemon and 1 Z Crystal, I believe. Yeah. So anyway, my team was primarily a rain team. We'll see it in a second, and my opponent just has the Chicago Cubchoos have some really threatening Pokemon for rain. So obviously Gigalith is a big problem because not only does he have, is this thing working? Okay, yeah. So not only does he have Pokemon that resist water, like, and are immune to water, resist water, and have hydration, he also has a way of overriding my weather, which means that if I set rain with Pelipper, I can't be sure that that I'm gonna keep it up, because he can reset it anytime he wants. So he also has Skuntank, he also has Leaveney, and he also has Cofagrigus, but I don't think he's going to bring any of those 3, so I figured he would probably bring 6 of these 7, and if I had to guess, I would assume that he's probably going to leave Rotom on the bench, but he could also bring it because Electric typing and Will-O-Wisp and Toxic and Pain Split and Screens also have utility here, so yeah, that's that. So these are 7 of the Pokemon that I think he's going to pick 6 of. This is, again, a single battle league, so it's not something I'm super experienced with. This is only my 2nd week playing, but I'm really excited for this. But yeah, basically he's got Vaporeon, Goodra, Gigalith, Medicham, Rotom Heat, Excadrill, and Togekiss, and there's a lot of reasons why this is threatening. In general, the large bulk is kind of a problem, and the fact that I can't just like throw water moves at random because he's got 2 really good switch-ins with Vaporeon and Goodra makes me kind of worried in terms of hoping to find success. So yeah, the other thing to note is that, so Gigalith is kind of problematic, Goodra, Vaporeon kind of problematic. My team has actually nothing that can switch into Mega Medicham. Like, Mega Medicham can OHKO or 2-KO my entire team, depending on its move. And it even, like, OHKO's Landorus after Intimidate with Ice Punch. So, yeah, this is going to be really difficult. But yeah. Boop. Anyways, so these are the 6 that I chose to bring. Starting off with Ferrothorn. Although he does have Medicham, the thing is that my opponent drafted Roxy, so I think that's most likely to be on Gigalith. It's also possible to be on Excadrill, but Roxy Gigalith is a really strong move, and the fact that I can have a Pokemon that can switch into it and take the attack relatively well, I think is a pretty important feature of Ferrothorn. So he's just like a good bulky Pokemon, can do well versus Vaporeon. I mean, he might get burnt, but he can Toxic Vaporeon, he can potentially Toxic Goodra. I would expect like Hydration Rest, but it's also possible to be like AV Sap Sipper. Setting Stealth Rocks is also really valuable. So, yeah, I invested almost entirely in bulk because I want to be using Ferrothorn as a pivot. I believe this takes -1 Drain Punch, but I forget what the EVs do, but they definitely do something. And the rest just in special defense. Yeah, Ferrothorn's a really strong Pokemon because normally people deal with it with fire attacks, and with Pelipper being able to set the rain, fire attacks are weakened, obviously, and Ferrothorn has such good natural bulk and good recovery with Leech Seed and Leftovers that it's good when it sticks around, though. A surprise attack can always remove it if I don't have the rain up, but he could bring HP Fire Gigalith, actually. That would be really good. Remind me to watch out for that, because that would actually be really good. Yeah, okay. Next up, I have Gengar. So when I was looking at the draft, I was like not positive why my the person who was drafting before me picked Gengar. But in this matchup, it actually looks really strong. Ghost moves hit the entire team for neutral damage, except for Exploud. Wait. Oh, he's 11. He has Exploud, Leaveney, Skuntank, and Cofagrigus, and Roxy. That's what I was missing, not the other 4. And yeah, but other than Explode, Shadow Ball hits everything on the team for neutral, except for Skuntank, but again, I don't think he's bringing Skuntank. And Spec Sludge Wave is actually really strong, so for example, it has a good chance to 2-hit KO some Vaporeon spreads, if it switches in. I actually have to be shiny because Gengar is an event only, or Sludge Wave Gengar is event only, but yeah. Anyway, Sludge Wave hits a lot of the team really hard. It can OHKO Medicham, which is nice, because if he leads Medicham and he expects to take a Ghost move, I can go for Sludge Wave. Being able to do good damage to Vaporeon and Goodra is really important in this matchup because, as I mentioned, they're 2 of the best Pokemon to switch into Water-type attacks, so with that in mind, I feel as if Sludge Wave, and a Pokemon that can just do damage to them and threaten them quickly is pretty favorable. So a strong Gengar, in my opinion, is a good choice in this matchup. I was thinking about sub-disable Black Sludge Gengar, but I was worried about, in case he does bring Exploud, like I was kind of worried about him locking into, because Exploud gets scrappy and Boom Burst hits through sub. So like I didn't want to be in a position where Exploud, like if he brought Exploud, I would just like really have to struggle against that. So I chose Choice Specs Gengar. Sludge Wave and Shadow Ball are given. Energy Ball, I was thinking about Thunderbolt. Thunder was suggested to me as well, and Focus Blast as well, but I hate missing, and I wanted a move that could like consistently do more damage to Gigalith. Energy Ball should do around 65% to Gigalith, which is like really good. And that's good because, if, like as I mentioned, I do have Stealth Rocks, and I do kind of anticipate Gigalith switching in a couple times, especially whenever I can reset range. So just having a move that can do 65% to Gigalith and like maybe surprise pick up the KO could be really good. It also does more damage to Vaporeon and hits Excadrill for neutral, hits Medicham for neutral, doesn't hit Rotom Heat or Togekiss or Goodra, but you know, we have other moves for that. So yeah. And the last move, I was thinking about Trick, but honestly, like the main Pokemon I'd want to Trick would probably be Gigalith, and it could have Roxy, and then I would just fail. And I don't really want to give Goodra or even Vaporeon a Choice Specs. So I figured just Destiny Bond is a fine option. Maybe I'll regret that, but yeah. Next up, we have Landorus T. I was talking to Envy about. Also, shout out to Envy for joining on the committee to help me build. But yeah, I was talking to Envy, and he was like, "Yo, dude, like Choice Scarf Rotom Heat or Choice Scarf Togekiss can give you a lot of trouble if you're not in rain." And I was like, oh, he's right. And so he suggested Choice Scarf Landorus T because it outruns all of his Pokemon. That's what the spread is for. And I should do like Landorus T here because if I'm not in rain, then the only Pokemon that outspeeds Medicham is Gengar. And so having a second Pokemon that can switch into, not switch into Mega Medicham, but at least threaten to outspeed it, especially with taking prior damage and hit it with a strong Earthquake, I think is a good choice. I do wish I was Adamant, but you do need Jolly just to be safe. So I think Knockoff also has a lot of utility in this matchup. Like if I can come in on like Excadrill or something out of Sand and then launch a Knockoff on the switch in, I think that can be really good because his Pokemon are really bulky, like Vaporeon and Goodra especially. And if I can just remove their items, then Togekiss as well, and Rotom Heat even as well. Like if I can remove the items of those Pokemon, I'm gonna feel like I have a much better shot. By the way, with what I'm bringing, I don't really have anything that wants to switch into Rotom Heat, which is funny, except for Kingdra. But okay, next up we'll do Pelipper. I'm just running. Last week I ran Choice Scarf, Pelipper, and Rain. Even though my opponent didn't have Weather, I just lost Pelipper and then lost because I only had like 5 turns of Rain anyway. So I'm gonna try Damp Rock this week. It might seem silly to run Damp Rock on a week where my opponent has Gigalith because most of the time he's going to be resetting it, but at least like this forces him to bring in Gigalith if he wants to reset the rain. He can't just stall it out as easily. And if I do get rid of Gigalith, it is nice that I have all these extra turns of rain. So I've just gone bulky this week. I don't have Hurricane, which is kind of questionable, I know, because he has Medicham, but yeah. But I feel like the other moves are better. So I'm running Roost, U-Turn, Defog, and Scald. U-Turn to serve as a pivot and get Pelipper out of there, and Scout to see if they switch or anything. Defog to remove hazards, Roost for longevity, and Scald just as my 4th attacking move. Because it's good versus Gigalith, it's good versus Excadrill, it can burn Medicham, yeah. And yeah, Pelipper, the EVs that I ran, I wanted to make sure Modest, Max Special Attack, Togekiss, Air Slash was a 3-hit KO. And then I was like, wait, let me see how much I need for like an extra point of defense with an Impish Nature. So it actually turns out that 76 is the amount you need for like 141 to 143. And then this is like 8 more EVs than I originally was planning on putting in Special Defense. So yeah, I didn't feel like putting any in Special Attack. I might regret that, but I think I want Pelipper to stick around this matchup. Yeah. Next up we have Swampert. Damp Rock extends the rain turns, by the way, if you didn't know. This is a cool Swampert set, so I think this is really neat. So, Waterfall, Earthquake, Rest, and Sleep Talk. This outspeeds, oh god. It should outspeed the Scarfers, I believe, in rain, because Mega Swampert has base 70 speed? Yeah, Mega Swampert is faster, so when it's Mega, this should outspeed a Scarfers in rain, which is good. If he runs, I'm not even sure he will bring a Scarf, but I think it is important. Maximum attack to hit the hardest as possible, the rest in HP. I originally was wanting to put like a much more HP and more defense in the spread, but MB thought that it was better to be faster and stronger, so he's the master, so I decided that this would work as well. I do really like the idea of being able to come and use Swampert as a late game sweeper rather than like an early game bulky thing. Rest and Sleep Talk are good because he has Scald, as I mentioned, he has Will-O-Wisp from Rotom Heat, and if Swampert gets burnt, then it's kind of useless. But with Rest and Sleep Talk, and like such strong attacks and strong stabs and good coverage, Swampert has the ability to really be threatening to my opponent, and so being able to keep it healthy, I think, and having also having 2 ground types in this matchup, because I don't think, unless he brings both Togekiss and Rotom Heat, he'll only have 1 Pokemon that can switch into ground type attacks, and because like ground just hits the team really hard. Medicham, Excadrill, Gigalith, Vaporeon and Kingdra, none of them love taking repeated Earthquakes, especially if they are poisoned or if they've already taken like Stealth Rock's damage or prior damage, you know. So yeah, having 2 strong ground types I think is solid, especially 2 strong fast ground types. So yeah, I went with Torrent over Damp because I don't think he's gonna go Boom, and then yeah, I don't really have much else to say. I don't know if this will work, like, but I do like the idea of like letting Swampert get status isn't like the end of the world. And lastly, probably the weirdest member of this team is my good friend Mr. Focus Energy Scope Lens Sniper Kingdra. So the idea here is that I can't be guaranteed that I'm going to keep Rain up, right? So, and even if I do, like, he has such strong switch-ins to my water attacks that yeah, like, that just, it doesn't make too much sense to be, like, running another Rain Sweeper here, like Kingdra or Ludicolo. But what's cool is that his team is actually relatively slow, and so Kingdra outspeeds the majority of it. It outspeeds Excadrill outside of Sand or in Rain. And yeah, with Agility, we can even outspeed Excadrill in Sand, which is cool. Surf, Focus Energy, Draco Meteor. Basically, if you guys don't know, Focus Energy plus Scope Lens gives any Pokemon a 100% chance to get a critical hit. Sniper then boosts that damage, the damage by an additional 1.5. So it's 2.25 the original damage, and that makes Kingdra really threatening because, as you probably know, critical hits also ignore drops. So what this allows Kingdra to do is use Focus Energy on the turn when it gets it, and then Draco Meteor until it runs out of PP or until you want to switch, because the drops don't really matter at all. So you get a base 130 power move, boosted 1.5 times per stab, boosted 1.5 times for a critical hit, boosted another 1.5 times for Sniper, and the drops don't matter. So it's a pretty strong strategy. Dragon and Water hits everything on the team, for at least neutral, and it's really strong. Like, it has a chance to OHKO Vaporeon after Stealth Rock's damage, for example, and Surf does a number on Gigalith, obviously, on Excadrill, on Rotom Heat. Crit Surf can do a lot to Togekiss, even though it is Fairy type, which is like his only thing that he doesn't want to, that like wants to be taking Draco Meteor, because Excadrill is so frail that it doesn't even want to be taking Draco Meteors, I think. And then, yeah, Agility's there because there wasn't really a better move in my opinion, and it lets me in the option where like he's got a lot of like Pokemon that are weak or like low health in the end game, but I don't need to be like using Focus Energy. I can at least Agility to outspeed Excadrill and outspeed Scarf Pokemon if need be. Yeah, EVs outspeed Excadrill, max special attack, rest in HP, not too much to say. So that's I think all I wanted to say about this. Yeah, I feel good about the prep that I've done. I feel like I have at least a chance against this team. It is a scary team. My opponent's a really good player, but I'm gonna, I just feel like I'll give it my best, and hopefully I can pull out a win. But yeah, I don't really have much else to say about this. The video will be on my channel tomorrow, probably whatever time. I want to say noon, but I haven't talked to the Chicago Cubchoos yet. But hopefully around noon EST. I don't really know, but basically whatever time this video went up. And if you want to know exactly, just message me on Twitter or something, or tweet me or whatever. Yeah. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for your support so far. It's been really cool. Last week, everyone was like giving me all these tips about Ferrothorn and how I should be using Gyro Ball over Iron Head, and there was definitely a reason why I had Iron Head. Why did I have Iron Head? I don't remember. But there was definitely a reason why I had Iron Head over Gyro Ball, because I originally had Gyro Ball and then I changed it. But anyway, yeah, thank you guys for all the tips. Thank you for being supportive. I know I'm like still a novice, but I'm doing my best to learn. So thanks again for your support, and I'll see you tomorrow. Best of luck to Galactic Elliot and the Chicago Cubchoos, and yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.